Chapter 7, it deals with input from the keyboard. So the general idea is we're going to make our programs more interactive today. We're going to let the user of our program type in things such as their name, their age, or any other piece of information. To do this requires a scanner. So this is another class we're going to learn about in Java. Like previously we've learned about the string class. That gave us a lot of methods such as substring and the length method. We learned about the math class where we saw the square root method, the POW method, all of those things. Okay, well there's also another class called scanner. And the scanner class has several different ways to be used. One of them is you can allow keyboard entry, and that's one we're going to look at today. And there's several methods in the scanner class. Okay, one of the ones we'll look at is right here. Next int, as the name kind of implies, that method is going to allow the user of your program to enter in an integer value. All right, what if you need a decimal value? Then you might use this one right here, next double. Okay, there is no such method as next string. That often causes confusion. There's next int, there's next double, there's no next string. There's a next method that allows the user to enter in one word, okay? Or if you want to enter in like an entire sentence, you use the next line method. And I'm going to show you the difference between those two things. Now, unlike the string and math classes, the scanner class isn't really part of like what our native Java package is, and we need an import. So I think this is the first time we've seen an import together. And I'll go over what that means in a minute, how we do an import. Okay? But what I've got here is just opened up a basic tester class. So I made a Lesson 7 project. Okay? Just made a new project called Lesson 7. I've got a few files in there right now. And I've got a tester class ready to go. We've never really used a constructor before from a new class. And we don't really know what a constructor is yet. We're going to learn in a future lesson. But if we look at this line of code in the textbook right here, this is using the constructor of the scanner class to make a scanner object or a reference to the scanner class. It's kind of like a set of instructions to the computer. When it sees the name of a scanner, it's like a reference of where to go find directions for what to do. So we're going to type in this line of code today. We're not going to fully understand it just yet. We're going to learn all the bits and pieces of it later. But for today, we're just going to kind of type it in like it looks. All right, so scanner. The author of our book always names his scanners KB reader. I think KB keyboard. I usually just put KB for keyboard. If you want to name your scanner, Zerla, you could, or Fred, or X, or whatever. It really doesn't matter. I usually just put KB there for keyboard. It's a new scanner. Okay. Now, when I was saying this earlier, like a constructor is like a special method we're going to learn about. Okay. So the thing is, it's just like other methods. Sometimes you need parameters in its call, and you have different choices. Sometimes you might put an int in there or a double. Today's is a little weird. We're going to put system.in. We're going to learn more about that later, but basically we're picking the type of scanner because there's several different ones available. This one allows keyboard entry. Later in the year, we might see a scanner where you put a big string in there, or even like a data file that you create in Notepad. And then there's like different ways to use scanners. This is just one we're looking at today. So this line of code right here creates a scanner object. Okay, or you might hear me use the word reference. It's like a reference to the scanner class. And this one in particular allows keyboard entry. Okay, so you can enter values in through your keyboard. Now, this is a little weird. I'm going to hit compile and I'm going to get an error. Let's read it. It says cannot find symbol class scanner. Okay, that goes back to what I was talking about, where the scanner isn't part of like the traditional Java language package that we have. So we have to import it, and this is how you import it. So there's so many things available to Java. Sometimes you have to import in certain things, and this is a case. So import java.util, which is short for utilities. So they've put together this package called utilities where there's like a lot of useful stuff. And the one we're using today is the scanner from that utilities package. So import java.util.scanner with a capital S. That makes the scanner class available to us, and now I should be able to compile. So I've mentioned this scanner class a few times, okay? Like we've done before, I could search on Google. I think I typed in Java scanner class source code, and you can actually see the code of the scanner class. I think this one's like, it's almost 3,000 lines of code, yeah. Okay, so it's one of these big pre-written classes, just like the math class or the string class, which we've seen before. And I wanted to show you guys one thing here. Okay, public final class scanner. So somebody wrote this class. It says implements iterator. We'll learn more about that later in the year, how to implement an interface. But for today, we can just see this is a pre-written class. It has a whole bunch of constructors and methods available to it. We're only going to use 4 of its methods. That's it. All right, so back to our tester class. Okay, now that we've got our scanner set up, now we're ready for some user input. So I'm going to type here system out print. And I'm going to ask the user to give me their favorite number. So I'm just going to say, what is your favorite number? Okay, and when they give me that favorite number, I'm going to go ahead and store it as an int value. So I'll just say int fav for favorite. And now I'm going to use that scanner. So I'm going to reference it. I'm going to say KB, that's the name of my scanner. When this program encounters the letters KB, they've been declared as a scanner. So the compiler will go to the scanner class through the import and find instruction for what to do. And in particular, it's going to find instruction for what to do with the method call nextInt. Okay? Basically, at this point, the program will pause and wait for the user to enter in an integer. If they don't enter in an integer, they enter something else, it's going to give us an error. We'll see. All right, and just to see if this worked, we'll go ahead and kind of print the results. So I'll just say something like your favorite number is. And then I'll just concatenate with fav. All right, so real basic program. We're going to ask them what their favorite number is. Hopefully they'll tell us. And then it's going to print it on the screen. All right, my favorite number, 42. Your favorite number is 42. There we go. Okay, real basic.